we're live now. I don't know if anybody's joined. Someone's joining already. Who's that? I don't know. So what you can do is you can have an interactive conversation as well. So if anybody does join, that's why I put it out as an invite. So if anybody joins, they wanted to ask you a question. They can ask you a question.
Oh, that's
like
a great
over Twitter,
idea.
so they can sort of sit there and comment. But it's quite a new tool, so it's going to be huge.
Wow, I
huge.
can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
So this is your latest. So tell us a little bit about this one. This is hello. This is Sarah, aka. What does SoS stand for?
Well, save our souls.
Really? why did you choose that? Well, how did that come to you?
Well, I put some initials together because it's a little bit to do with some family history, and there's some O'Sheas in the family on my side.
Okay.
So it's a sort of Irish ancestry, which I haven't really explored very much. And so, obviously, using the OS from the O'Shea, and obviously I'm Sarah, so it was a double whammy.
Yeah,
because, you know, my work's very much about sort of social change and how we need to change things. So SOS being the sort of common distress signal, you know.
And tell us about this particular piece you're working on right now. Let's just have a look at it. And if anybody's got any questions for Sarah for SOS, then please do comment away.
Yeah.
I mean, this is awesome. I just walked through here.
It's kind of wave. It's really interesting to see how it looks actually on the screen.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to pull people through this long, tall alleyway, because if you kind of go up, if you can, sort of, you can see that it's part of a really, really, really tall building. And which is the side of the car park, the RCP car park.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, it's another tall building, which is the Brighthelm Centre.
Okay, yeah.
So
we are in a,
we're
in a darkened alley.
It is. It's a kind of very narrow space, and it was a really high tagging area where it was just multiple tagging. And tagging is kind of okay. I like it as an art form and everything, but it's kind of how it makes people feel in an enclosed space.
That's the thing. There is a negative perception with tagging.
Exactly.
We are fortunate in Brighton to have a number of very talented street artists, and it's becoming even more accepted and prevalent.
And it's very tolerant, Brighton. It has a sort of tolerant graffiti policy, which really works, because the idea behind creating art on the wall is to really... It's not anti-tagging, because I don't like to use that sort of approach, but it's more inclusive, it's more reflective of what people in a community want to see.
Yeah.
You know, so I've had loads of people coming up to me saying, oh, what a transformation, this feels different, the space, it feels nice now, I feel safer, you know, and those are really huge comments, you know, because you've not just got sort of the male demographic and generally most of the taggers, but you've not just got men walking through here, you've got old people, young people, children. You know,
do you think it's because also tagging feels like people are doing with a sense of urgency and a clandestine type of action, whereas if you bring street art out and say you can paint here, then people will have time to think. They're not so desperate to make a quick mark, and they can think about it, and they don't feel excluded.
Yes,
you know.
definitely. But also tagging and street writing, or the writers that actually just write their name again and again. That's kind of like a genre in its own.
So the Arrow MSKs and
you know all of those because they're everywhere.
Well, we've got the Bartington Terrace near us, the Bart Simpson mural, which is fantastic, and you know, I mean, it does for our area, things like that sort of are aligned with the identity of who we are as a neighbourhood. I feel maybe not everyone does, but you know, so there's you know. But for coming back to this one, for such an industrial building, I mean, it's like a blank canvas in a way, isn't it?
It was once it was painted with the base coat, thanks to tomorrow. Thanks to tomorrow's people, who are a young group, a young charity that help get back into sort of work and education. So they did the whole base, and once the base was there, it was like, wow, what a lovely blank canvas at this point, you know. It was, fab to then start working, and then I had lots of different volunteers and people who collaborated with me to learn graffiti skills and street art skills and stenciling skills alongside me. So there were some companies like there's a local company called Pinio, which is part of the Sitting Guild publishing group.
Okay.
And they have an active policy for their staff to spend each of them one day out a year in the community doing work to help the community where they're operating from, and I just think that's a great idea.
That is amazing.
So they came along and they were really fun to work with, really, young and dynamic. So they helped with the process, because obviously when you look at the major feature, which is this way that goes all the way along, I did it in Photoshop, obviously, because it was a design competition to win this space.
Yes.
So I did the design in Photoshop, and obviously had an inkling of how I was going to actually do it as well. But the actual reality of creating this is huge stencils.
Oh wow!
So
really?
Yeah. So it's a design that I did in Illustrator and then kind of blew it up and then printed it out in individual panels. So actually, between this and this, I think it's probably one of the biggest stencils in the town as well.
It's really interesting. When you look at the intricacies of street art, I think the first thing you always pops into your head is, how on earth are they doing it? What's their method?
Yeah, I mean, there's no kind of fixed method. Something, I've used a mixture of freehand and stencil work, so it's got that kind of softness and also the dynamics of, this stuff was done literally in a few seconds, really, and I was just in the moment. Obviously, I had something to work from, but it was just freehand.
Yeah.
Along with the big face here, but then you've got elements like the leaves, and obviously this part here, which is stencil. Some parts of the tree over here are also stencil.
Yeah.
Just when you've got a repetition of it's a lot quicker, obviously, to do.
Are you finished? You're not finished.
No, it's taken a long time. I mean, the most recent addition is the bandstand and the wind turbines here, which you can see are still in.
Oh, yeah.
So you can still see some of my masking tape at the top, because obviously I need to have someone with me to get up ladders and stuff. But I'm really pleased they're doing the offshore wind farm. And this was obviously designed before that was announced. So I just love wind turbines as well. I think they're just architecturally amazing.
There's a lot of people that would disagree with you on that, but it just goes to show that design is in the eye of the beholder and our perception of beauty.
Exactly.
Will the i360 come on here?
Yeah, I know. Do you know what? It's so funny. We were having
seen the wheel
yesterday. So the wheel's here, and the licence has expired on the wheel. So yesterday I was saying, oh my God, it's already out of date and I haven't finished painting it yet. Will the wheel still be here?
But it's a lovely tribute, because many people don't want to see the wheel go.
No.
So it's a wonderful tribute.
Yeah, I wonder where I could place the i360. I'm not sure.
I'm not going to give you my opinion on that either. So how long will is this a longer term mural project, is it?
Well, it's taken me a long time because I've been finishing my MA. So,
but how long will your art stay here?
Oh, it will be here forever. It was a competition that had judges, sort of the local community. Caroline Lucas was one of the judges, the director of the centre. So it's a project, hopefully it's a public piece of art. So
yes.
It's my first commission to do that, and hopefully it will stay. If it's tagged over, that's one of the things about street art, but
You can come back and touch it up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just one of the final things that I think is worth mentioning, because while you've come down here sort of nearly every day to work on it, you've had a few issues. Do you mind talking about those?
No, I I don't mind. Obviously, the Brighthelm themselves have been really supportive, and they've helped me with that. One of the things
I should clarify that it's people walking by. It's not issues with anybody associated with the project at all. But there's a bit of misunderstanding and hostility.
Yes, it's true. I think. Well, I think one of my recommendations really about working in the street is about being safe in that space.
Yeah.
And when you come out on your own, and I might be working on a project like this, despite the fact, I mean, you can see there's a cone that's collapsing over here. We put cones at both ends, and, you know, that end was also sort of had signs, and we put signs both ends. People get a little bit angry when you might be spray painting down there and it's closed off.
Yes.
Because they have to change their route. And surprisingly, some members of the public get quite abusive. That's unfortunately what happened yesterday. And we've had a few people, I don't know why it is. I mean, I'm generally quite apologetic, saying sorry, please, you know, can you go an alternative way? But I think people, maybe it's a sign of the times. People think their time is ultra precious.
Yeah.
They don't like to be, you know, and also it's dangerous. It can be dangerous when I've got ladders and there's spray paint.
Yeah.
You know, I had one mum, she had a baby on a papoose, and I had obviously the mask.
Yeah.
I was spray painting. I mean, it's just very sort of misty with spray paint. She absolutely insisted to walk through, even though I said it's maybe a little bit not good for the baby. You know, this is actually closed. So people sort of have tantrums sometimes.
I'm sure that if there's people like rail workers or bus drivers, they experience that kind of everyday frustration as well of people going about their normal lives.
Yes.
Do you think it was particularly? Do you think there was an element of that they thought you were just like a graffiti artist sort of thing?
Doing a sort of act of vandalism.
Yeah, when clearly it's not. When you look at the scale of it, it's clearly not. But maybe that is a perception thing as well. Perhaps it's
possibly that they don't understand that it's my work.
No.
And you know, obviously, if I made the analogy, if someone's sort of sitting at a computer, you're not going to sort of kick them out from their chair and say, move, I want to walk through, you know.
Oh, I don't know.
That's kind of what's happening to me.
My cat tries that every day at home, in my home office.
Yes,
move.
True.
I want to sit here.
But I think there's an element of that, and I think there's an element of some people are just really grumpy.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't like to be told, and they like to sort of say, well, you should have a sign. And I said, I have got a sign, you didn't read it. Well, the sign should be bigger. So sometimes you just can't win with some people.
There's going to be an element of that.
Yeah.
Well, it's absolutely brilliant. And if anybody is... So we are... that's Church Road. North Road. I've only lived here for 15 years.
It's kind of opposite the post office.
So it is, and it's down the side of the Brighthelm. So anybody who's around should come and just spend a few minutes just taking it in, really.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Claire.
Anybody got any questions? We've got 4 viewers.
Wow.
Which is pretty amazing. So if anybody wants to ask any questions. No, everyone's really shy. Never mind. But thank you. I think that's brilliant. It's a really good insight into your work and your approach.
Thank you, Claire. Thanks.
Stop now. I don't know how to stop.
How do I stop? So new, the technology.
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, you can go for it.
Oh, yeah, go for
it. Thank you.
Right.
See.